Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day to those who are celebrating today. It is a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. We have a great show today. It's BJH. Hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Valentine, it's great to see you. I got a shout out for you later on. Hope everyone's having an awesome Sunday. Logic Live number 112. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Logic Live number 112. That is a large number. We have an excellent show today. I'm very excited to introduce you to Louper and Alex, but before then, I'm just going to run over to our fancy slideshow for some messages from our sponsors and some announcements from Logic. This episode of Logic Live number 112 is brought to you by AJA, together with Flame since 2006. That is a long time, isn't it? Hot Spring is the future of VFX outsourcing, connecting you to other artists from around the world to help you get your projects done. You can find them at thehotspring.com. If you need Boris FX plugins, you can save 15% on any Boris FX product, standalone or subscription, with the code Logic-2023 at checkout. And we'll be talking with Boris FX on the next show, so keep this code in mind if you fall in love with what they have to say next week. We have a merch store with an excellent collection of hoodies, shirts, mugs, stickers, and more. And a few weeks ago, we added a few new exciting items. We now have some Logic notebooks, AirPod cases, and iPhone and Android phone cases. We'll be giving 2 of these away at the end of the show. You can find the merch store on Logic TV website with the merch button at the top of the page. A huge congratulations to the 2023 Flame Award winner, Soham Rawal. His work is here on the screen, and it is super impressive. Big shout out to him. And a big congratulations. That is an excellent achievement. Thank you to all... Thank you to all of the patrons who are subscribed on Patreon. Your support is what allows this right here to take place and what allows the Logic community to thrive and grow. We are up to 164 patrons as of this week. Every week the list just keeps growing. Thank you to each and every one of you for your support. If you'd like to support what we're doing here on Logic, not only do you get the peace of mind of contributing to an excellent, growing, tight-knit community, but you also get access to some exclusive content, such as the post-show Q&A, where, for instance, after this show, we'll be heading on over to Zoom, chat some more with Alex, and dive deeper into Louper and cover anything that we might have missed during the show. Head over to patreon.com/LogicTV and support for as little as $5 a month. Don't forget about the Logic Forum, because it is the go-to place to ask questions, have conversations, and learn more about what others in the community have to say. The thread that I've been spending some time with this week is one called Grain Management, where Deepak Pais asked a grain question, and a bunch of people, including Jan Klyer, Val Andreev, Alan Leteri, and Richard Betts, chimed in to help out and nail down what we might be able to do to elevate flame grain matching to the next level. If that sounds like a challenge you're up for and you think you might be able to continue the ongoing quest to recreate Das Grain in Flame, head on over to the forums, take a peek, help raise the bar, because that's what this community is all about. Our year-to-date forum stats for 2023 are looking good. We're clocking in at 1,355 users, 1 million page views, and that is a milestone right there, 4,700 posts, and a whopping 657 users on Discord. Speaking of Discord, if you aren't there already, think about stopping by. It's where you'll find your day-to-day Flame chats, questions, comments, hangout, a little more conversational than the forums, and a great way to ask one-off questions that doesn't need to get immortalized in the forums. Join the conversation today and click the Discord link at forum.logic.tv and come on over. Every week, more challenge coin shipments make their way to happy patrons' doorsteps. If you didn't know already, all patrons get a challenge coin, which is a hell of a deal. If you are the proud new owner of a challenge coin, it's always fun to share a picture of your proud new desk ornament and conversation starter. Rumor has it that there was a life-size challenge coin at NAB, but no one has been able to confirm or deny such a bold statement. And speaking of bold statements, Glenn Teal is making some bold statements over on the Logik podcast. Glenn Teal has been pushing the Logik envelope forward, helping to produce Logik podcast episodes. He's been doing an amazing job getting those underway with Amanda Elliott, and we will be releasing new podcast episodes all the time. If anyone has any suggestions for podcast topics or interview subjects, shoot a message over to Glenn on the forum. Reach out if you have any ideas on someone to interview, and there's a good chance that Glenn can make it happen. While we're making things happen, some new tutorials have certainly happened over at Logik Academy. It may not be winter, but we have a few solid new tutorials from over the past few months, starting off with particles with Sinan Viral's Flame Particle System number 2. Sinan is an incredible flame artist, and this is an excellent tutorial. He does an amazing job showing you what you can do with Flame's particle system and expands on some of the ideas from the first video, showing you some really ingenious ways of using particles in Flame. New tutorial number 2 is by Graziella Gandolfi, covering Intro to Matchbox Shaders. She walks us through step-by-step exactly how she writes a simple Matchbox shader and shows you a few of the complicated theoretical concepts so you can understand just what's going on and why. She does a really great job and gives you the chance to make sense of the Matchbox shaders, which I think is really fantastic. I've had a few people mention to me that this video really helped them understand how it all works, and I was using this tutorial just the other day to refresh myself on how to make a Matchbox shader XML, and it did the trick. These 2 videos join the rest of the Logik Academy series, Connect to Conform, the Image Node, Intro to NDI, 8-Minute Aces, Beauty Techniques in Flame, Setting up PyBox, Machine Learning Time Warp, My First Linux Flame, Logik Portal, and Flame Particle System Part 1. If any of these sound cool, check them out, because they are all available for free on the Logik YouTube channel. Big shout out and thank you to Autodesk for sponsoring these videos. And of course, speaking of Autodesk, Flame 2024 has become available for download just a few weeks ago, so don't forget to upgrade if your schedule allows you to do so. If you are a visual learner like me and you like to see what's new in video form, check out the Flame Learning channel. I had the honor and privilege of working closely with the dev team to put together 7 videos that are all finally released, showcasing some of the more exciting 2024 features like start frame metadata, metadata overlay, the paint node improvements, and paste special. If you have any feedback for me, positive or constructive, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I do hope that they're helpful for you all. And that's it. Let me head on back to other things. Hello, welcome to Logik Live 112. We have an amazing show for you all. I hope you're all excited to see it. Work from home is the norm for most of us Flame artists. And while client sessions have gone a little bit down in recent years, it's pretty common to need to still do client sessions. There are a couple of options available. NDI is in Flame now, but it takes a little bit to understand how to get NDI to really work for you. Some options that have worked for the color world are a little bit expensive. And so if all of this is resonating with you and you're interested in client sessions and remote capabilities, this episode is for you. Alex is the co-founder of Louper, which is a service that might be very interesting if you like what I had to say a minute ago. So I would like to introduce Alex to the floor. Hello, Alex. Welcome to Logik Live.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I had the pleasure of meeting Alex at NAB. He had a couple presentations for us over at the Logik After Dark event. So I hope you're having a great day. Alex is over in the UK, so it's a little bit later than here in New York City.
I've had my great day. My great day is over. My great evening is beginning.
Your great evening is beginning. Oh, that's great. So why don't you kind of intro the Flame community who wasn't at NAB to what Louper is and how it all works?
Yeah, so Louper is a real-time synchronous collaboration platform for people who work in post-production primarily. It's geared very much towards video and film professionals, a lot of editors, colorists, sound designers, VFX artists, and online artists. And of course, Andy and co found me and found Louper a few months ago and jumped right in. So that was exciting. So it really enables you to have real-time review on edit sessions or sound sessions, VFX reviews, really easily without any proprietary hardware. We do support hardware if you have that as well. And we've tried to make it as cost-effective and friendly as possible, both for the people doing the work, for the Flame artists, for the editors, and for clients who are joining remotely. That is it in a nutshell. So I'll let you.
Yeah, that is it. And just to complement that, everything that Alex just said is so spot on. And just in the interest of being informed about it, because he has a couple of different pricing models. The first one is free, so how could I not try it out myself? So I tried it out just kind of the week before the show. And in 5 minutes, within 5 minutes of signing up, I was up and running and I had a room and I was streaming and I was showing some of my coworkers. It is easy. It is very easy to set up. And man, compared to some of the competitors, it is pretty darn cost effective. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's been the goal since day one. I'm an editor. I was an editor for 15 years in offline editorial for commercials and feature films, and really found that it was, these types of tools are out there, but they're super expensive and cost prohibitive to freelancers and even to smaller outfits and even the larger outfits at the scale at which they need this kind of solution. And also a lot of them require a lot of hardware and proprietary hardware. And it was just really unfriendly. And I took a look at everything and went, there are children streaming 4K games on Twitch. Why can't we adapt that technology to post-production? And so I did, though it wasn't nearly as easy as it sounds. But yes, we will continue to serve freelancers and the freelance community. We are delving into studios as well now. Studios are approaching us, so there's the product is kind of evolving and morphing to suit them. But and for that reason, we'll have that side of the business, but we'll also always have the freelancer side of the business and the freemium free sign up model. It just means anyone can get up and running super quickly and easily without any risk.
Yeah, and it again, as I said, very simple. It limits you a little bit. It can be pretty limiting to only be able to have like you and one other person there, but I mean that's the nature of a free like testing service idea. I love the idea that you took that concept of Twitch streaming, because I'm a gamer, so I know all about the Twitch world. My wife does some Twitch streaming to stream video games that she enjoys playing.
Right.
So I'm familiar with that, and I think it's brilliant to kind of take something that exists in a pretty polished state and kind of apply that to something else. That's where really great ideas come from. And so props to you for making that connection and making it work. So why don't we jump in and you can share your screen and give us a look of what it looks like to use Louper and walk us through how it works.
Absolutely. Let's go for it. So first up, tagline, and then I'll jump into the room. I won't waste too much time. But there are two components to it in terms of the collaboration aspect. You can live stream to a room, and you can also upload video files and have shared playback of those video files directly in your room. It all works in the browser. So let me just jump straight into it. I like to work backwards, and then I'll show you the interface and the dashboard and how you get to the end product. But the end product looks like this. So this is a live stream. I'm playing out from Flame right now, and I'll get into the details of this in a moment. But I can play out of Flame. And I can have that stream playing back directly in my Louper room at whatever resolution and frame rate I want. We don't compress frame rate or resolution in any way. So if you want to stream at 4K, you can do that. Bit rate and frame rate is up to you. Same with audio. Audio bit rate stereo up to 512 kilobits per second. This all runs directly in the browser. For clients, there's no sign up or registration required. There's no special downloads or plugins. It is browser native. Built-in video chat, which at the moment I've got red rings because we're muted because we're doing the YouTube show, but you've got built-in video chat on the left over here. You've got push-to-talk mic functionality. You've got various layout controls. So everyone who joins the room, if they're joining just by a link, would appear here in the video chat section. You can change the layout. You can have an active speaker region on or off. And that at its core is it. I'm in the room. I've got video chat. I can communicate with my clients or collaborators or other Flame artists, whoever else that might be in the room. And I can see my stream playing out from Flame in my Louper room. So on top of that, you can then have multiple live streams streaming to the same room. And you can also have video files. So over here, I've got video files which I've uploaded to my Louper account. And I'll click on one of them. And that'll play. And that'll mean that everyone can see this video at the same time. So Jeff, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you can play on that.
Yeah, I just hit play on that one. Hopefully that didn't mess anything up.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So yeah, so we're all seeing the same frame, and I've got a little bit. If I move that up, I can see the frame counter over there. I can shuttle forward 10 frames or back a single frame, and so we're all seeing the same frame of that video file at the same time. So that's it in terms of sources. It's either live streams or it's video files. Obviously, we built the live streaming thing first. The video file feature was added later, but the video file feature is becoming more and more popular. But of course, live streaming is kind of where it all started, and that's our big focus.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not really very versed in the different solutions because I've only ever gone, from a flame artist perspective, I've really only gone the very simple route of sharing my screen over like a Zoom or a Google Meet. This is the next level up. And I didn't even think of the idea of being able to use video sources. So like you can like post something and this is the older version and they can reference that older version. From my perspective, that sounds great. Being able to see an older version and where we are now, that's a great idea.
Exactly, and that was kind of the reasoning behind it as well. Hey, we're working on something live, we're doing live changes, but hey, here's the previous version or the previous 3 versions, or here are just references for something else, right? It's really flexible in terms of how you use it and what you want to use it for. So it could be a versioning system, it could be you want to throw in references from another commercial, or VFX shot references from another project that you want to try, throw in there and show clients. So it's super versatile in how you want to use it. I can see a drawing on the screen now.
John Ag had an annotation question that I just wanted to sneak in there. So the answer is yes. Annotations on screen. One question that I was interested in, and I don't know, I couldn't find this, but if we wanted to kind of like preserve some of these annotations in like permanent form, would we have to like take a screenshot before it gets cleared? Or is there any way to preserve like a screenshot that you might want to save on for later?
There's no way to preserve it now. It is on our roadmap, so it will eventually become possible. But right now, you'd have to just manually screen grab that. Yeah.
Great. Okay. And on the roadmap, is there any plans of we can draw wherever we want, but is there any plans on any kind of text to add a comment associated with a mark here?
Yes, there is. So there'll be comments based, like on a bunch of other asset management platforms. You'll be able to do time-coded comments on video files. Yeah, that's on the roadmap. It's not possible right now. So at the moment, it's very much focused on live. Let's talk about it verbally.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's it for so annotations. There's an update coming to annotations in the next couple of weeks, which will have preset shapes and lines and horizontal and vertical fixed lines to check horizons and stuff like that. So at the moment, it's just free form drawing tools. You can set that in your room settings to either clear after a set amount of time, or you can just manually clear them however you like. So that's it for live streams and video files in the room. You've got text chat built in, which I can see Jeff has already said something looks great. And I'll type back, thanks. And this is very similar to a Google Meet room or whatever, where you just have the comments live in the session for that session. So clients joining later aren't going to see previous comments, or clients from a different job aren't going to see text chat from an earlier session. So that's all just live in the room. So text chat, you've then got connection quality stats, which is super useful for clients who are on bad Wi-Fi by the beach and scratching their heads as to why are they possibly dropping frames. And so this is, it's all green for me. I'm just on a residential home internet connection, but this will give you insight into what's going on with the connection. In case there are any issues, or if there aren't any issues, it'll tell you that too. So I've got full green bars. I know my connection to the server is great, and my connection streaming to the server and then receiving that stream is great. I've got a full stats over here of the resolution and frame rate of this live stream, frames received, frames dropped, which is 0, a bunch of other stuff in there as well. And then the same on the encoding side. So I can see what the encoder is sending out. I can see all those stats, and I can see what the client is receiving, and then logs will show me any issues. And it's a little sensitive at the moment in terms of what it will give you a log message on. But this will tell you if there's any issues. It'll tell you in those logs. So that's it for the connection quality. And then, there's a connection tester as well, which clients on corporate networks, or if they're on company-issued laptops and they're on strict firewalls, which happens very rarely, but does happen, the connection tester will tell them what's failing, and they can take that to their IT department. And yeah, we've got full documentation on how to get around that, if that is an issue, but it isn't for 97% of users. Keyboard
Yeah.
shortcuts as well, which is fun, directly in the room, so you can navigate the room much more easily and turn your webcam on or off easily, or enable or disable the drawing tool, and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, that's it for the room. And then let me jump back, Jeff, unless you've got anything to jump in with right now. I'll jump to the encoder side and show you how this all works from Flame.
Just a quick, kind of a big picture question. Maybe this is more of
Yeah,
a roadmap question from BJH in the chat. Yeah, this is more big picture. He's concerned about from the like locked down NDA side of things. He sees that it's on the cloud. Looper's on it's cloud based, but he's wondering if
yeah.
there's any server based options so that maybe it would be able to get locked down even more. If I'm understanding that correctly, potentially for
Something like
from
a
just a
self-host, something
yeah.
like a self-hosted option, which we've been
I
asked
think
for in the
so.
past. It's not on the roadmap currently. What we're looking to do is to, we've got Paramount vendor approval, so which covers all of Paramount networks. We're busy doing the same thing with Warner Brothers and others.
Great.
And so, depending on the content you're working on and who your clients are, it may be that the vendor approval and InfoSec and security approvals we get from the big studios will cover you. If not, yeah, reach out to us. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're taking all the right steps of reaching out to them. I mean, yeah, I'm not in those meetings of NDA certification for streams like this, but I want
Yeah,
to believe that that'd be all right.
yeah,
And we
yeah,
have
exactly.
one other question from John Ag right now. He's wondering if the clients need to are the ones who need to press the optimization button for their stream, or if that's something that gets done on like our end and then we can do it for them.
So there is no optimization button as such. Are you referring to the connection quality
Oh yeah, I
indicator?
guess it's connection quality. That's true.
Yeah.
I
So
guess yeah, it's
so
all or nothing. It's just really their connection, how it is.
exactly. Yeah. So that'll show you connection stats for their side. There's no way to see their connection stats on your side yet, but that is roadmapped as well.
I have another question, but I think let's keep going because I think it might be related to what you're about to show. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's take a
Cool.
look under the hood.
So let me jump to the Flame side and how this all works. So again, like I said, you can have play out from Flame, Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, Avid Media Composer. You can use hardware or software connections. So let me jump into Flame. So I'm running NDI out of Flame, which some people will be familiar with. I won't set it up from scratch now, but if you switch your video device to NDI and audio device to NDI and a couple of other places in Flame, that'll send out an NDI signal. So without having to do anything else really, that's sending out an NDI signal. And in LBS, which is our customized version of OBS, which is a desktop encoder software, we are encoder agnostic, so we do provide LBS, but you can use the usual version of OBS if you're so inclined, or whatever else you want, like Wirecaster and a few others. We supply LBS because we've simplified it and stripped it down and just given you exactly what you need. So I've got an NDI source, which I've added in the sources panel. And if I open that up, I can see my Flame NDI video as the signal which is present. So I've added that. I've got control over the resolution and frame rate of my stream, which I can match to my content, or if it's you can go high, you can do an output of, if your source is 4K, you can do an output of 1080p if people are only watching on laptops anyway. You've got flexibility there. You've got flexibility over the video bit rate and audio bit rate, so anything from 1.2 megabits to 20 megabits per second or higher if you want, and an audio bit rate from 128 to 512 stereo. These values can be changed whilst you're on a session. So depending on what you're working on, 2.5, 2,500 kilobits a second is the default. It's what a lot of people deem to be perfectly acceptable, especially for editorial work. And if clients are viewing on MacBook Airs or iPads, that's generally going to get you by. The bandwidth requirements on that are really low as well, 2.5 megabits a second. But like I said, you can go higher. A lot of people for color sessions will go up to 10 megabits per second for greater detail. So that's it in a nutshell on the encoder side. I've got a bunch of other scenes here, so you can create multiple scenes. You can have a scene that is, your desktop or a desktop and an NDI signal together. You can compose these scenes and add multiple windows and do whatever you want. You can then switch between scenes. And I've got a media file in there, and that'll appear in a Louper room. So this is kind of your output stream. Is what you're controlling within LBS, and I can switch back to the NDI signal, and in the Louper room, everyone will see the NDI signal again. So on top of NDI signals, which obviously is what you can get out of Flame because it's got built-in NDI support, you can do Blackmagic devices as well. So Blackmagic devices being Ultra Studio Recorder 3Gs or Ultra Studio 4K minis, anything that you can get an SDI or HDMI signal into. So if you're sending an SDI or HDMI signal out of your machine, you can loop that back into the same piece of hardware. You can loop it into another piece of Blackmagic hardware and bring in that HDMI signal into LBS and then send that to your Looper room. Again, you've got support for display capture, which is a screen capture, window capture, and then you can mix and match these sources. You can have multiple scenes. So if you want to show, for instance, Flame's full NDI output, just a video preview, NDI is great for that. It doesn't include the interface. You could then add a display capture scene, which will show you the full Flame interface as well. So there's a lot of versatility there on what you want to do and how you want to do it. On top of the LBS software and software encoders in general, we do support hardware encoders like Magewell Ultra SDI, Teradek cubes as well. For those who have those pieces of hardware, you can plug an HDMI or SDI feed into those and stream directly to Looper without having any software encoder.
This is great. I have a couple questions, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
The questions are flooding in. I'll give the first one that I think is most relevant would be from Alan Leteri, asking about getting the stream onto an Apple TV app. That I'm not exactly sure how, but have you run into that before?
Yeah, we're actually working on that. So at the moment, you can do it if you could AirPlay to an Apple TV, but in terms of a native Apple TV app, we are working on one currently, which will be out hopefully this summer. So that'll be
Amazing.
a native solution, a native TV app. What you can do currently is AirPlay the video stream from iPad or iOS. You can actually get the true AirPlay button. Instead of AirPlaying the whole interface, you can AirPlay just the video stream to your Apple TV.
Great. Next one is a little bit more understandable. The question is, does it have to be, I see you're on a Mac. Does it have to be Mac, or does it also work on Linux?
Works on Mac and Windows. It can work on Linux. We don't have a build of LBS available for Linux, but you can use the regular version of OBS. So we do have setup guides, which I'll get into in a bit. And the third-party encoders, OBS, there's settings here for configuring OBS, which works on Linux. It's similar to LBS. It's a little bit, there's a few more buttons and dials, but it's possible to stream from Linux and Flame on Linux to Louper. Yes.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So it's just a few more setup steps, but because LBS probably takes care of some configuration, but OBS would need a little bit more configuration. But that's good to know. Correct. That it works on Linux. Yeah. Next one is a little bit of a harder question. It's how many audio channel outputs are we supporting here? Because Alan's asking about 8 channels, I assume, for a surround mix scenario for hearing more than just stereo.
Yeah, we don't support surround. We only support stereo currently. I'd love to hear more, though, about your needs there, because it's a request we do get sometimes, but it also depends on what are your end clients or viewers looking at this on. If it's Apple TV and they've got a surround system, that's understandable. But the majority of users report that their clients are looking at streams on MacBooks with AirPods. So it'd be interesting to hear more about that need, because we get sometimes. Yeah,
I assume it may have to do potentially with like finishing trailers that have more than just stereo outputs, and they'll need to monitor that potentially.
Right. Sure. Yeah, at the moment it's stereo. If you add a multi-channel or multi-track audio source to LBS, that'll get downmixed to stereo.
Do you think it'll just choose the first two, or do you think it'll combine them in some way?
I'm fairly certain it combines them into a true downmix.
Okay.
But I could be corrected there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess Alan, let me know if that answers your question about the SDI part of your question. I don't, I'm not sure if it was just more about the channels or about SDI. And then John Ag is asking about ATEM Mini support, which I think would more have to do with managing scenes. Oh, maybe it's because I think the ATEM Mini like kind of hooks into OBS nicely. Maybe the question is, does it hook into
So the
LBS?
Blackmagic A10 Mini you can use it in both ways. So it'll hook into LBS as well. There's a Blackmagic source in Blackmagic device. I don't have one attached right now, but that should show up the A10 Mini. You can also, I know the A10 Mini has direct RTMP out, which some users are using with Looper to stream directly from an A10 Mini to Looper without going via OBS or LBS.
Cool. And then the last question, I think we mentioned about this one. It's a color question. Jason Chambers is asking about some HDR support. Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, so no HDR support currently. Streams are 8-bit SDR only. We are working on 10-bit SDR HDR. I don't have a solid roadmap for that yet in terms of a release date, but it is being worked on.
I know some of us in the color world would be itching for that 10-bit support because I think that's important, but it's also, it's hard to beat the cost for what we're getting with the 8-bit here. So hopefully we'll hold our breath on that one soon.
Yeah, 10-bit is a priority for us. So yeah, that is coming.
That's great. I think we got all the questions, so why don't we move on a little bit more? We're doing great.
Cool. So let me get to the dashboard. So this is where you manage rooms. So we've been in the room. I've showed you how to get streams into the room. And now let's work in the dashboard and I'll show you rooms and file spaces and teammates and everything else. So on my account, currently, I'm on Alex's team, which is my team. I'm the owner of this team. In fact, let me make this a bit bigger so you can see better. So I've got 6 rooms currently. These are all rooms that I am the owner of. This is the room that I showed you, and I'll go into room settings. So when you first sign up, you'll get a room on the free account. You'll get a room. You'll be able to set up your room. Big setup room button. When you click that, you'll get to this interface, which lets you configure your room name, add a label. You can turn video chat on or off, or have voice chat or no communication if you're so inclined. You can have microphone mode of open mic or push to talk. Text chat on or off. It's super modular in terms of how you want to use that room and what features you want to make available to your clients and not. Drawings, like I mentioned earlier, you can either set those to automatically clear or keep visible until manually cleared. That's for the on-screen annotations. And then there's some advanced settings here in terms of what's the default video layout. Should it be circular like that? Should it be rectangular? This is obviously overridable by individual clients, but what do you want the default to be when they join is basically what these settings do. Same for Spotlight, which is the active speaker region. Moving along to the Access tab, you can set your room. So on the free plan, everything is public, I think. Team and private means that the room can only be accessed by people who are part of your team. And then private is only selected teammates on your team can access it. Room passphrase on or off, so you can require people to require a passphrase or clients at least to require a passphrase. And same with lobby waiting room, you can turn that on or off as well. So that's very much like Zoom. People need to be admitted to the room before they can actually join. Streams, you can add, like I said, you can add on the Pro tier at least, you can add multiple streams to the same room. So there are VFX houses who use this in particular, where they've got 2 or 3 VFX editors or artists working on the same project, and they every morning do an hour-long review, and they'll all stream to the same room and then switch between those live streams, all within the same room without having to jump between various rooms. Streaming protocols, for those who are aware of them, we support RTMP and SRT currently. So again, any hardware encoders you've got that do RTMP or SRT, provided they can encode the stream in the right way, we're compatible with them as well. Watermark is a feature that's coming soon. It's not out just yet. It's coming out as part of our studio plan. That'll be a client-side watermark with IP address, email address if it's been entered, session details, basically to deter screen grabs or sharing of content. And if that were to happen, this would provide a way to track that down visually. Metadata is a feature that not many people use. It's used more on the production side, more than post-production, but you can add files and information to your room. So project info, you could add commercial editorial, you can add who the director is, who the editor is, the edit house, agency, client. You can add your own custom columns, and all this information will appear in the room, in the sidebar in the room. The same for room downloads. You can add various files or storyboards or scripts or PDFs, and those will also be available directly inside the room to everyone who is in the room. So that's it for room settings. You set up your room, you get given your stream keys, you plug those into your encoder, whether that's a hardware encoder or a software encoder or LBS, our forked version of OBS. You enter those and you're streaming to your room. You're good to go. In terms of teams, because I mentioned teammates and team members, you can also add invited teammates. So these are people who have got email addresses who I've invited to my team, and I can then share these rooms with them, and they can get their own Louper account as well. Again, most people who are working with external clients won't do this. They'll just send their clients a link. But for those who are working as part of a team, or maybe you've got other VFX artists on your team or at your company, you can then all share rooms directly in the dashboard. In terms of inviting people to your room, that's just a straight up link. At the moment, I don't have a password enabled on this, but you get a link, share that with whoever you want to join the room. They click the link in the browser and they're in.
That's a big one to me. I think the fact that they don't need an account is pretty wonderful for at least something on the short form where it doesn't need to be as locked down. You just need to get someone in there. That's very nice. That's very convenient.
Yeah, that was one of the things we did first, was to figure out how do we make this as easy as possible for end users. Because like someone very clever said to me a few weeks ago, there are two types of users: those who can't set it up and those who won't set it up, at least on the client side. So if it's a link and they just have to click it and they're in, that's great. Again, we do provide more fine-grained control. Like I said, in the Access tab, you can change those to team or private, so that isn't accessible via a link, and it's only accessible via a dashboard and only accessible to users who you've expressly given permission to access. So there's flexibility there. And then file spaces. This is where you can upload video files to then link them to your room. Now, we don't want to get into the business of mass file storage. There are a plethora of options out there. Iconic Frame.io, Media Silo, who do that and continue to do that. So this is really, we provide a small amount of storage, and it's really for you to upload some files that you want to add to a review session. This is not for a repository of all files or kind of long-term asset storage, which is not to say we delete your files. We don't, but it's there's a limited amount of storage space, and it's really for getting files into your session. So yeah, we've just announced a partnership with Media Silo. So for people who may be using Media Silo as your asset management platform, you can link your Media Silo account to your Louper account and have access to your Media Silo assets within Louper without having to upload them separately to Louper. And we're likely to do some other integrations like that as well going forward. So you can have multiple file spaces, you can upload files, and then you can attach them to a room. So I've attached these to the demo room, which I showed you. I can preview these files in directly in here as well if I want to, and just shuttle through them. But really the point is you upload them, you attach them to a room, and now they're accessible in the room like I showed you earlier. You can flick between them, and if I click that one will show up for everyone in the room currently. So that's it for file spaces. You've also got kind of fairly granular controls around who has access to file spaces. You can set that to private. I can't on my current account, but you can set it to private and have this accessible only by particular members of your team. That's it for rooms and file spaces. That's all the fun stuff. You've got settings is all. It's fairly straightforward. You've got your profile, you've got team settings where you can invite more users, you can remove users, you can check your pending invitations. Custom branding is about to be launched as well. So that'll let you custom brand your rooms around your company logo, which will appear in the top left over there instead of the Louper logo. So that's coming. Plan and billing is all self-service, at least on the freelance tiers. You can have multiple rooms, sign up with credit card, pay with credit card. You get full invoice history directly in here. And then on the studio plan, which we're launching soon, that'll be kind of custom plan and custom billing and stuff for larger teams. That's for settings. And then support, we've tried to make this as easy as possible. And as Jeff said, his experience has been super, super simple and straightforward. So we have full setup guides designed to get you up and running really quickly. So I don't have a flame guide in here at the moment. One is coming. But yeah, there's various setup guides on how to get set up and running with this, using Blackmagic hardware, using NDI signals. This is all step-by-step video tutorials, which takes you from zero to streaming to your room and inviting people to join your room. On top of that, we've got a bunch of other stuff, documentation around using files and sync play and file uploads and account management and FAQs and all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of a place to go for all your Louper needs. And if you have any trouble, we're accessible via live chat and email as well. That's it for the dashboard. You can also be a member of multiple teams. So if you want to do that, you can, I can be part of Jeff's team. Jeff can be part of my team as well. I can be a part of 3 other teams. So that's pretty flexible as well in terms of how you work with teams, particularly not so much for one-man bands, but very much for smaller post houses and studios and the larger studios as well. It's useful. Yeah, that's the full rundown.
Nice. This is great. I do have a question in the chat, and I had a question that I remember someone asked for an unrelated presentation that I heard for something else. It was how flexible, or is it on the roadmap to increase the number of people who can join a room on, because I know that on the highest end, maybe if you wouldn't mind pulling up as like one of the last things that we talk about, pulling up the different pricing options. There's the free, and then there's what is that, the plus, and then there's the pro. Pro maxes out at 10 participants. I think I heard in the long form DI world, sometimes you're going to want, I've heard upwards of like 20 people in a room. Is there any plan to like have another level or bump that up? Or
yeah, there is. In fact, some of our customers we have given a 20 participant limit to, and that's great because it means they can try it out and let us know. And so far there's been no issues.
Great.
So yes, we will make that official soon, in terms of having more people within a room, and possibly even removing the limit and going, we officially support up to 10, but if you want to go up to 20 or 30, you can do that. Again, on top of that, we will get to a number that we are happy to support, officially support, or say you can definitely have this many people in the room. And 20 is the number we're looking at currently, at least short term.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That's cool. Hampus has a question. He jumped in a little late. I think we covered like a tiny bit of this, but not exactly this. So he wants to know how possible, to your knowledge, this is putting you on the spot, I'm sorry. How possible might it be, because he already has an HDMI to a client monitor in his room. Can you think of a good solution of both having a client monitor and having an SDI out into LBS? Is that something that you think is possible?
Yeah, it depends on which hardware you're using. So what some people do is go SDI out to a client monitor and then SDI, out of SDI A and then out of SDI B, send that signal and loop it back into your Blackmagic hardware. Give me a second and let me just pull this up because I've got a setup guide for it.
Oh, you do? Because it's confusing in my mind, because I know in the flame preferences area, you kind of got to choose one. Like right now, yours is set to NDI, so I'm not sure how that would look if you needed to have it both in the client monitor and as an NDI feed. But
so I'm not entirely familiar with Flame's output options, or I know people from Resolve are sending out SDI, as in this image here, SDI out to a broadcast monitor and then SDI out and loop back into the SDI in of their Blackmagic card. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to loop out of if your broadcast monitor has got SDI, an SDI loop out, you can then go out of your Blackmagic hardware and then back into like a Blackmagic Ultra Studio recorder, for example, which is SDI or HDMI in. That is another option. And then a third option, which isn't diagrammed here, is to use a splitter, particularly useful in the HDMI world. So you can HDMI out into a splitter, and then HDMI 1 out of the splitter to your broadcast monitor, and HDMI 2 out and back into your Blackmagic capture device. So it's a little convoluted, but that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I think it's just a complicated scenario anyway. I mean, I think the majority of people would probably want either in person or remote, and so to have both, I think it makes sense that it's a little bit complicated. But hopefully it's clear.
Colorists use it a lot, even though they might just be working from home alone, because obviously they're always viewing on a broadcast color accurate monitor. So in fact, this diagram and this one below it are both pretty popular amongst colorists who use Louper.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense from the color perspective.
Yeah.
Continuing the color perspective concept, I think we talked briefly about this. Alan just wanted to confirm color precision. I think you mentioned this briefly. It's right now it's 8-bit 420, but there's a plan for 422 10-bit soon.
Yeah, so right now it's 8-bit 420. SDR, what's planned is SDR and HDR 10-bit, 10-bit 420, and possibly 10-bit 422. 422 in the browser and to consumer devices might not be as easy as it sounds. So yes, so 10-bit definitely, 422 maybe.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I'm not going to ask you when possibly, but I know, it's on the roadmap, so I don't want to hold you to anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to say something and disappoint people, because that's very common in software. So I'd rather just not say anything and also disappoint you.
Yeah, but at least you're not saying no, and I think that's important.
Yeah, it's something that comes up often, so, and it's something that we're very, very keen on doing. So it is being worked on currently.
That's great.
So, yeah.
John Ag just wanted to kind of confirm how much storage is on the first paid plan. That was the middle one. I forget what that one was called. Plus, I think.
First paid plan storage is currently 20 gigs. If you want more than that, we'll give you more than that without any hassle or without charging you. No one so far has hit that limit, because they are really just uploading MP4s and they might be clearing them after a session. So so that limit is low. I know it's low, but if you need more, well, we're happy to accommodate. But yeah, we set it low, and so far no one has said anything. So
that's the beauty of being.
Sorry, you go.
Oh no, I mean that's the beauty of being a small team. You're not a huge conglomerate. You can afford to have a conversation with some of your users and be like, you know what? Yeah, sure. Here's some more space. I love that. Maybe I'm just a sucker for small companies, small teams, but I think that's just so great.
Yeah, no, we speak to users all the time, and we on Zoom calls and on emails, and so we're very responsive to what people want and stuff.
Well, I think you're talking to the right group here, because I think one of the things that us Flame artists really love is the kind of conversations we can have with people like the development team on the Flame side. So it's just wonderful. We're kind of used to it. We're spoiled by it. So we love. It's great to hear that you're that way too.
In Vegas at After Dark, obviously you had the Flame guys, the Flame development team there, and that was awesome to see how open they are and how much you can interact with them. And I've not seen that anywhere else in the industry before. It's really cool.
Yeah, agreed. And I think we might have hit all the questions, but we have one happy comment from BJH, who asked some of the hard-hitting questions earlier. He's just praising, saying he loves the host-client interface, the roadmap, and the technical possibilities. I'll put it on the screen here. He appreciates adding to the competition to some of the big guys out there who are, if I know the numbers correctly, I think they're like 20 times more expensive than you.
Something like that. Yeah. On the plus plan, on the free plan, we are infinitely less expensive.
That's right.
On the plus plan, it's 20x, and on the pro plan, like 10x at least. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess that's all the questions from the chat, and I have one little question. What has it been like? Hold on, Hello. What has it been like to go from editor to in the position that you're in right now? Because I think I haven't really heard too much from I mean, I'm sure it's out there, interviews with like Emery from Frame.io, who went from like our side, the artist side, to the software side, the service side. How's it been for you, just on a personal level, like going from editor to Louper co-founder?
It's been an incredible amount of fun. It's been difficult.
I bet.
It's been a roller coaster. It's been interesting every single day and at every step of the journey, and I love it. And I do. I mean, I get the same rush from running Looper and building product and building a team and offering a service. I get the same rush from that as I did when I first started editing. I mean, I started editing early on when I was like 13 in my bedroom, and then I started work at 18. I didn't go to university or anything, and that was just like a constant rush of working on cool projects and moving to London and working in Soho on commercials and feature films, and it was just go, and it was so much fun. And I never ever thought that software development was something I'd actually get into. But I started building it. I started building Looper because I had a need for something like this that was cost effective and a great product, and kind of pretty soon realized that, hey, this is like another passion I didn't even know I had. I got the same rush from it and still do that I did from editing when I started editing. So it's been fun. It's been challenging. I have a very understanding wife. I wouldn't change it for anything. And I still love editing. I have Looper has taken on, a much bigger place in the industry, and therefore I basically do Looper full time, but I still love editing. And I imagine that one day it is something I will get back to. I still do bits and pieces here and there, and I love it. But I'm all in on Looper for the time being.
That's great. And I'm sure it's hard to know just how much Looper will be self-sustaining as time goes on versus how much it'll need like the love and care that you're giving it now of like new features, keeping up with it. How big is the team? Is it just a couple people?
Yeah, so the actual team hands-on working on product it's two of us. I do a lot of UI and UX myself, and then my CTO does all the hard stuff. So really, there's two of us on the core team on the development side. We have a head of sales in Los Angeles, and we have another team member in Nashville and another one in South Africa on the business side of things. So super small team. The actual hands-on product is two of us, but yeah, there are other people, and there are more people joining in the States. So yeah.
Great. Well, Alex, thanks again. I appreciate your time, and I think this was a really wonderful show. I'll see you over on the Q&A session afterwards for the patrons chat, if that's all right. But
yes,
now...
please send me the link to that, by the way. I just realized I haven't got it.
Oh, okay. That's probably important. I'll do that in a second when I get a free second. But thanks again,
very much
Alex.
for having me on.
Great,
Thank
and
you.
I'll see you there after I get you that link.
Right.
Great. So it is now everyone's favorite time of the show. It's prize time. Let us give away some prizes. What's the first prize we're giving away, Jeff? Thanks, Jeff. The first prize is you get to choose a Logic notebook, an AirPod Pro case, or a phone case. And the lucky winner is none other than John Agg. Congratulations to John Agg. You get to choose what you win. Who's our next lucky winner? John Agg is number 1. And number 2 is Enrique Sanchez. Congratulations, Enrique Sanchez. And the number 3 winner will be winning 1 year of our friends at Boris Effects have approved us to give away optics. Who will be walking away with Boris Effects optics? Brian Conlon. Congratulations on winning optics. There it is. Congratulations to you winners. And now it's back for our closing slideshow. Up next on Logic Live. Oh, there it is. I'm back an hour earlier than usual. So if you're still here, keep note that it's at 1 p.m., not 2 p.m. Next Sunday, May 21st, 1 p.m. What's new in Silhouette and Mocha Pro 2023. Ben and Marco from Boris FX are going to go over some awesome new features in the Boris FX world. I'm a big fan of Mocha, so I'm more than excited to be presenting that episode. If you haven't already signed up with the forum, please head on over and do so at forum.logic.tv. You've heard the spiel before. It's super active and super helpful. While you're there, why don't you also sign up and head on over to Discord, where we're having some of our more informal chats and hangouts. This episode of Logic Live will be available on the website later on today. We have a new episode of the Logic podcast. Glenn Teal chatted with none other than John Agg, the winner of some new Logic merch. And John, in my mind, is the Swiss Army knife of Flame, doing everything from editing to finishing and everything in between. He's incredibly active on Logic and in the Flame beta program. He has a lot to say and a lot to share, so go check it out and learn about his story. We have reached 1,800 subscribers, specifically 1.84 thousand subscribers. It just keeps growing. That's the goal. But if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button because it does help. If you'd like to support what we're doing here on Logic, please become a patron by signing up at patreon.com/LogicTV. Congratulations to the proud new owners of some Logic merch. Be sure to check out the Logic merch store to pick up your own Logic merch, especially our notebooks, AirPod cases, and phone cases. Big thank you to Boris FX for sponsoring Logic Live. If you'd like to save 15% on everything they make, you can use the code Logic-2023 at discount. Sorry, Logic23 at checkout. Thank you to AJA for also sponsoring Logic Live. They've been together with Flame since 2006. And a final thank you to Hotspring, the future of VFX outsourcing, connecting you to other artists from around the world to help you get your projects done. You can find them at thehotspring.com. And that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alex, for introducing us to Louper and giving us an awesome explanation. Alex is going to meet us over at the patrons chat and in Zoom, and I'm going to give him a link. I have to remember that. And he'll be digging deeper into Louper to answer any extra questions that we have for him. I'll see the patrons over there. But for now, thank you, everyone, for being here. I appreciate you. I'll see you next week on Logic Live.